It's artificial intelligence.
It's not just coming. Artificial intelligence is here, and it's affecting your investments just as it's infecting almost every aspect of modern life. In this episode of Life in 2046, we're going to focus on artificial intelligence and what you can do to use it to be successful in your portfolio and to prevent it from being destructive of your portfolio. We're going to look at investing in an artificial intelligence through 4 different areas. The first area is hardware. Hardware is the chips and other portions of the actual machines that are going to be running artificial intelligence. Hardware is a tricky business. You work hard, put in massive amounts of time and money to come up with the latest and greatest, only to have it superseded by your competitors in a short period of time. Therefore, you have to be constantly working on several levels of product in order to stay ahead of the game. If you don't do that, you fall by the wayside, like a lot of these companies listed here that have been in the hardware business over the last years. As an investor, you have to remember these basic rules of the hardware business, and you watch your investments closely. If it's beginning to slip, then you need to get out accordingly. Our next area to review is software. For this part of the discussion, we're going to be discussing application software, the code that is in the computer that tells it to do the things that you specifically want it to do. We're going to postpone operational software to a later discussion. From an investment perspective, application software has done extremely well over at least the last 30 years. But a lot of people are suggesting that that run is coming to an end and that they will face tougher times ahead. Basically, those concerns are valid. It will be quite possible to replicate what you want to get done yourself through the use of artificial intelligence to actually develop the systems rather than having to pay for systems that someone else has developed. By itself, that indeed does not bode well for the software industry as we know it. However, the software industry has 2 main components: huge companies and more mid-size and smaller companies. If you're investing in software companies that specialize in the mega caps, then you better be concerned and paying attention. If they begin to seriously lose revenue and market share, that is an indication that they are being replaced, and it's not something you want to ride for very long. In the mid-market and smaller category, however, the companies may not want to invest time and money, and they may not actually have the expertise to develop their own software, and they'll find it much easier to go with one of the existing software solutions for their daily operations. That puts you back into a quite normal investment decision of determining who has the best offerings and investing accordingly. Once again, however, you need to be up to date on what's happening in the marketplace, as changes and improvement in the artificial intelligence software and services provided may in fact take out even some of the smaller players in the software field. The next area in investing in artificial intelligence is the area of service. What we're talking about here will resemble the current cloud services that most corporations are using these days. It really makes no sense for virtually any corporation, regardless of how big it is, to run its own computer systems in the days of AI. The sheer volume of information being processed, the numbers of processors required, the amount of storage required, the energy, and all those things come together to mean that efficiency is of extreme importance. This trend started back in the 1990s when companies discovered that there was no competitive advantage to running their own computer centers. The major players in AI will have their centers available for their customers, and this is the way they will get a return on the huge investments being made. AI systems that do not have their own service approach will have to team up with organizations that are capable of providing that service. Service may well be a good way to play investing in artificial intelligence. The major providers will soon separate themselves into winners and losers. Then they will provide a growing market for many, many years. As always, you have to keep an eye on what's going on, but they're unlikely to get unseated by new startups or other approaches that can come in behind them and take away the market. Keep in mind, for the artificial intelligence implementations to be successful, they're going to need to train their models on the most available information that they can. This requires access to huge quantities of information across a broad spectrum of areas. And those companies that can do that will most likely be the winners. The final approach to investing in artificial intelligence, a lot of people won't realize is investing in artificial intelligence. Yet it's the approach that most people will by default find that they're into. That's investing in any business. All businesses will be affected by artificial intelligence. It's a matter of how well they handle it, how well they deal with it and plan for it, and whether they or stay ahead of the game or fall behind it and eventually fall by the wayside. To be successful, you have to follow the actual business. You can't just look at the numbers and what is said by a bunch of Wall Street talking heads who are, they themselves are following the numbers. You have to look at the business and how well they are utilizing the technology in order to strengthen their business. We are entering one of those eat or be eaten periods where the businesses that do not play the artificial intelligence game well will no longer be in existence. How do you do that? This is a graphic that I began using and copyrighted in 1980, and it's just as valid today as it was then. These are the three things you can do with technology to affect the profitability of your company. Let's start with the upper right-hand side where it says decrease costs. Wall Street understands decrease costs. They understand numbers, and this is the numbers. There is a lot of fluff going on in corporations. There's a lot of places where you can reduce headcount and take money out of operations through other ways. That's the decrease cost we're talking about. Artificial intelligence will give you many opportunities to do this. Investors need to be aware of how the cost effectiveness of their company stacks up against the competition and how well the current plans are in terms of driving even more cost effectiveness in the future. This that loses this battle is not slated for success over the long haul. On the other hand, businesses that get focused strictly on cost reduction often get blindsided by the fact that they're reducing the quality of the product or service they're providing. Take a look at the airline industry and the hospitality industry for very visible results. As they have cut costs and cut costs and cut costs, they have affected their profitability and their ability to hold on to the high profit customers. These kinds of things can be the death knell or certainly a serious negative component affecting your investment. The upper left-hand corner section is increased revenue. This is the most important of all three of the sections of this slide. This is also the subject of most of the videos that we're placing in Life in 2046. The things that are going to really make a difference for companies that you may invest in is their ability to make major changes in the marketplace, come out with new products and services, new ways of delivering those that are better and clearly differentiate themselves in the marketplace. This is where you'll find the winners, and those not doing this will be the long-term losers. The final section on the graph is technology costs. Technology costs can certainly get out of hand, particularly in the situation such as we have now, where the hype is so great on the existing technologies. You should check to be sure that your companies are in fact following reasonable technology approaches. If they believe that only they can do it and only they can do it right and are not utilizing the low cost services available, that's probably a big red flag. Likewise, if they're only focused on the cost and not on the quality of the technology services they're getting, that's also a big red flag. In our much simpler technological world today, there's not a day goes by that I don't work with one of the companies that I do business with, and I discover that their app doesn't work, or their website doesn't work, or they put out a new update and it's not been completely tested. These are the kinds of stupid mistakes that we're making right now, and they will be amplified by the breadth of the technology in the future. These kinds of issues should be huge red flags for your investments. This completes our introduction to investing in artificial intelligence. Nobody said it was going to be easy. Take a look at other videos in Life at 2046. Please like and subscribe to our channel. And if you have questions or comments, email us at lifein2046@gmail.com.